Alright everyone, I'm Ryers and welcome back to Final Fantasy XVI. Let's keep going. Alright, before we make for the Valkyrie Desert, let's take care of these side quests here. Starting at Hawkscry Cliff. We need to gather some ammonia.
The river was easy enough to find. Now for those herbs.
Come on, guys. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is neat having Byron here.
This is the only plant around here with blue flowers. I hope it's the right one. Should be enough to keep the infirmary stocked for a while. Hopefully this will put Rodriguez's mind at ease.
Alright, now let's head over to the Dragon's Eyrie. It's over there, okay.
Keep them pilchers nice and chilled.
Look at this place.
Let's go.
Is that them right there? How's everything going?
Cole, I'm glad you're in one piece.
Just about. Sid, if you don't mind me asking, what are you doing here?
Doris sent me to find you. She hasn't heard anything since the attack. She's been worried about you.
I sent a runner to the Dame in Northreach. The hideaway should have learned of our survival yesterday.
Well, I'm here now. And it looks like you freed the bearers.
Only some. The rest locked themselves in the slaver's carriage rather than fleeing when they had the chance. I want to help them, Sid. But we're barely in any state to protect those few we did save.
You made the right decision. Now where's the carriage?
The goblins may still be out there.
You have duties to attend to here. See to the injured. I'll handle the rest.
All right. Just follow the path to the south. You'll come across the carriage soon enough. And please, hurry. If the beastmen get to those bearers, the poor souls will be eaten alive.
I won't let that happen.
Thank you. And Sid, it's good to see you.
Don't thank me just yet.
Get me back on my feet. I'll tear those bastards' heads off.
Stay still, you damned fool. Unless you want to bleed to death.
They're trying to get into the carriage.
Ooh, man. Can't see anything, but... This combat is so satisfying.
Who are you? A friend.
Are you the
there
ones
any more
from
survivors?
Lost Wing?
Why didn't you flee with the others? If
Maybe
the
just
goblins
look
had
the
made
same.
it through that door, You wouldn't have stood a chance.
Why should we run? One miserable death's no worse than another.
Perhaps. But we're here to give you another choice. Freedom, safety, the life you've been denied. Come with us. Let us protect you.
Sid, I couldn't just let you... You weren't too late then. Thank the gods.
This man risked his life to save yours. To give you a second chance.
Fine. Do with us what you will.
What we'll do with you is take you to safety. After that, it's up to you. Your lives are your own now.
You can leave the rest to us, Sid. We'll get everyone back to the hideaway.
Thank you. I'll let Doris know we're expecting new arrivals.
I wonder if we'll see them in the hideaway now. Look at that sunset. A reflection in the water. Alright, back to the hideaway.
Sid, welcome back. A stolus from the Dame arrived not long after you left.
Here it is.
If I'd just waited a little longer, I might have been able to deal with things myself. Or maybe I wouldn't. I keep making the wrong decisions.
Cole and the others got home safely. You made exactly the right decision.
No, I was lucky. I've been tracking that slaver for months, and then I sent Cole and you after them, woefully unprepared. What kind of leader sends people into danger without considering all the risks? I should have urged greater caution, told Cole to be wary, to pull back at the first sign of trouble.
We swore the same oath as you, Doris.
It's good to see you safe and well, Cole. I'm sorry.
With all due respect, we Cursebreakers don't risk our lives because you commanded of us. We risk them because we believe in our cause. No one with doubts ever joins our ranks. The agony of removing the brand more than sees to that.
We all know how much bravery that takes.
Cole,
Seems like a pretty invasive procedure.
I never doubted your courage. Only my ability to see it put to good use. Thank you for your faith in me. I'm not sure I deserve it. I sometimes wonder if I might prefer to risk death alongside the others than ask it of them. But I'm a Cursebreaker. I swore an oath too. I have a role to play, and I must trust that I'm the right one to play it.
You will. In time.
Okay. New hunts, huh? Probably in the desert. Yep, okay. Velcroy Desert. Somewhere here is a B rank. It's a big black thing that's somewhere in the desert. Okay. Keep an eye out for it.
Oh, I wasn't expecting you back so soon. You earned this. All done?
What's this accessory? Combo damage. Okay. Is Jill still here? Back here, there she is.
I'm fine, Clive, really. I just need some rest.
Clive keeps leaving before his wounds are healed.
I overheard your little chat with Rodrigue. It's good of you to help.
I hope you didn't have too much trouble finding the ammonia.
Only the usual.
Oh, yes. This is it. And more than I was expecting. I dare say the patient won't feel a thing. That is, unless I...
You'll do fine. Tyre trusts you, which means I trust you. The hideaway would be lost without skilled physicers like yourself.
Thank you for the kind words. Truly. But... I'm sorry. I'm still terrified. The brand is more than just ink on flesh. It's a death sentence. Milk of the wyvern tail lurking just below the surface of the skin. One ill-conceived incision, a single slip, and the poison fouls the patient's blood. Failure means death, and even success means tremendous pain. Days of agony as the wound heals. I became a physiker to help people, not to kill them. I don't want to kill anyone.
Cursebreakers lead hard lives, and the operation is only the beginning. They toil in the shadows, risking life and limb, knowing their efforts will win them neither glory nor acclaim. And yet we never won for volunteers. Why do you think that is?
Conviction? They're willing to die?
They're willing to fight. To give their lives to create a world where people like us can be more than mere possessions. I know your work isn't easy, but neither is going under the knife. Be a shoulder for your patients to lean on. Stay strong for them.
You sound like Tyre. Do you know what she once told me? It's natural for a patient to feel like they're suffering in solitude. And it's a physiker's duty to see that they don't. Thank you for helping me remember that. I won't falter. Not again.
Glad to help. It sounds like the ink with the brand is kind of poison ink. And if you cut it, it'll get into your blood supply and poison you. Updated, I wonder. Check tomes real quick because I'm curious about the brand. See if it's updated.
I know.
How good it is to see you, Clive. I don't believe you've read this particular chapter before. If you have a question for me, I should be happy to answer it.
Brand removal. Here we go. Painstaking process of slicing away the bear branch so that no mark remains. Taria, the hideaway's physicker, has mastered the procedure, but it still entails a good deal of pain and of risk indeed. The brand is written in poison ink, that any attempt to remove it should result in death. Given this, many choose to forego the process, even though their brand precludes them from ever leaving the hideaway. Yeah, I didn't think it was made of poison ink, but yeah, that is... I guess that is more of a security measure. Desert hare. Sid's contact in the desert. Alright.
The door to the shelves shall ever be open.
Just get a good picture of this. I can, come on. Alright, let's head to the desert. A vast arid sea of sand and stone that has slowly been consuming western Dhalmekia since time immemorial. Definitely a different change of pace from the other environments you've been in so far.
I was a young man when last I walked this path. There's an old trading post not far from here. The road to Drake's Fang leads through it.
The trading post it is.
Riddle of the Sands. It's pretty big.
Our destination lies over that dune, beyond the ruins. Mark 'em well, Clive. It's all too easy to lose one's bearings in the sands.
Come on. Back to the stables, girl.
Aratina is where we are. Okay. Not a whole lot here. I wonder what section of the desert the hunt mark is in. just a straight up upgrade. Okay. Even rarer than platinum. What's that over there? It's looking down this area, it seems. Or maybe past it? Like down here?
Many years ago, when you were just a boy, you and I rode this way together, accompanying your father on a scouting expedition to Drake's Fang.
He let me come with you.
I'm not surprised you don't remember. It was just before Joshua was born. You were so eager to be there when your brother arrived that you whipped your chocobo too hard on the journey home and fell from the saddle. I shall never forget how Elwyn fussed over you as you sat in the sand, bawling like a babe.
Got some traders going around.
Who do you think those soldiers were in the inn?
Straight home now.
It's through here.
Cook has finally made his move.
Yes. I expect that's why there's so many soldiers in town, to deal with any Imperial reprisals.
I guess we're going to that area anyway. Alright. I expected them to be hostile, but I guess not. Just here. Okay.
Ah, there she is. The good old Dalamil Inn. Do you know, this heat has given me quite a thirst. Quick drink before we press on?
Yeah, this place looks pretty. It's got a whole... Wow. Look at that water. It looks gorgeous. It's not a bit pixelated. What's up, Torval?
Look, there. Those are Ashen steeds. No doubt about it.
And such a long ride from Stonehair. Our Luda friends must be soothing their saddle sores in the inn. Shall we join them? Run along and play now, Torgal. Dogs aren't allowed inside.
Hoods are definitely a good idea.
Good day to you. Eating?
Sorry about my pal. He only talks when his mouth's full. What do you recommend?
Well, if you're after something light, we do a fine chocobo soup with lentils and honey.
2 bowls of that then. An ale.
Right you are.
Hey, girl!
Coming!
Your pal?
Would you rather be my squire?
Well now. Not who I expected to see.
Your Grace, it is plain you are not yet well enough to travel. If you would only let me take you to someone who can better attend to your ills.
No, we must press on.
That's where we better meet up with
Dion
him.
has returned to his camp and will soon depart for the front.
We're so close.
I must speak with him at all costs. Miss this chance and I may never get another. You do understand that?
Yes, Your Grace. But you must at least agree to take your medicine. I'll fetch you some water.
Who is Yota? It's just someone he came across on his travels? God, I really hope we meet up with Joshua here.
Keep watch, they tell us. But all I see is sand.
I hear they got our guest back to the Fang without any trouble. We'll be leaving soon enough.
Why the Lord Commander dragged us all this way just to save that blockhead skin, I'll never know. Dominant or not, he's a bloody idiot.
That'll be Cooker, then.
We're dressed in... Ooh.
Well,
They're dressed in Dalmekian attire.
A long way to go.
Hey, you.
There were looters. Interesting.
Uncle?
Sorry.
She doesn't want any part of that commotion.
Can you walk, Your Grace?
What's wrong?
I fear trouble may be brewing downstairs.
She's gonna go watch.
You two are travelers, are you not? Me and my companions are strangers here. Perhaps you'd be good enough to accompany us a while. Help us find our way.
Sorry, lads, but we've got business in camera that can't wait.
Ah, I'm sure you could spare us an hour or two. Friend.
I'm afraid we don't have a moment to lose. Stay back, Uncle.
Gladly.
Oh.
Take it!
Try it.
Bravo, my boy! Just like that! Titan!
Get out of here. I love that that's a counter. Come on. Come on.
It's you.
It's me. And she watched all of it.
For your trouble. Word of advice, miss. That soup could do with a touch more salt.
Oh, she recognized us. She's got to.
Now's our chance. Your Grace?
I'm fine.
Clearly not fine. And unfortunately, we just missed them.
Clive?
Enix is close. Come on, chase after him. Catch up with him. Never did like his carrots.
What is it now?
It's nothing. Let's go.
Sorry for breaking all your tables. Gotta meet up at some point soon.
We didn't know where to find Kupka before. We do now.
The Rawlers said it themselves. Their guest is in the Fang. We should press on before any more of their friends turn up.
made from the stoutest stoneware. Ah, they've closed the road. And it's the only way from here to the Fang. It would
We can't
seem
just
Lord
climb over the wall.
Kupka is not accepting visitors at present.
We have to get through that gate.
Not by force, I trust. We've attracted quite enough unwanted attention already.
By guile, then. Perhaps the Desert Hare can offer us her aid.
Rosina Dalamil, woman of mystery. But how will we find her? We know naught of her but her name.
And that she was working with Sid. Sid's other collaborators have all been people of means. Wealthiest and most successful members of their communities. I'll wager this Rosina Dalamil is the same.
That would certainly help to narrow the search. We need only inquire as to who is in charge of the town.
And that's exactly what I mean to do.
You sure we can't just climb over these rocks and get out that way?
Light it for Gilbert's sake. You're a bearer, aren't you? I was a fool to waste good coin on you.
It's a bit more rocky than I thought it was, but still, it can't be that hard to just climb this. It's not that high.
What do you want? Can't you see I'm busy?
I won't keep you long. I'm looking for someone. A woman by the name of Rosina Dalamil. Do you know her?
Never heard of her. Is that all?
One more question. If I wanted to find the richest trader in town, where would you recommend that I look?
Oh, that's easy. The Briar's Kiss. Won't find a finer smithy this side of the strait. The owner's only a young sprig, but he's got all the right ideas.
The Briar's Kiss, you say? Thank you.
Okay.
I doubt this young sprig is the person we're looking for. You said Sid's contact was likely to be an influential sort. Influence comes with age and experience, believe you me.
Could be. Or they could at least help.
Anything I can help you with, travelers?
Allow me. My good man, we represent one of the oldest and greatest trading houses of Port Isolde. We're seeking to expand our business in the region and would very much like to make the acquaintance of Dalamil's leading entrepreneurs. If only we knew where to find them.
Well, we're best known for our baths, our markets, and our smithies. I suppose you could do worse than start your search at one of those.
Thank you. You've been most helpful. Oh, you wouldn't happen to know a lady by the name of Rosina Dalamil, would you?
No. I can't say I do.
Well, thank you all the same.
Really, dropping that name isn't really great. Although if only a few people know the name to begin with, it's probably okay.
Well, it's not like we've got a reason to. Whatever this emergency is, they've shut down the whole mine for it.
The gate is closed by order of Lord Kupka. Any attempt to gain passage to Drake's Fang will be punished with arrest and incarceration.
Alright.
Are you looking for something in particular? Go with Gilbert.
Mummy, I want to play with the crystal.
How many times do I have to tell you? It's not a toy.
Can I help you?
Yes, I'm looking for a woman by the name of Rosina Dalamil. A long-standing pillar of your community, I believe, from old trading stock.
Then you should ask Furder. He's been here for years. Knows the place and its people like the back of his hand. And he's in with all the old merchant families. Try the baths. That's where you'll usually find him.
Thank you kindly.
I'm curious about this smithy, though.
Well, it sounds like we have our man.
Perhaps. Let's go and find out exactly what this Furder knows.
Hanging lanterns, keep the darkness from your door.
This town is truly blessed. The bustling markets, the healing waters, and all under the watchful eye of Lord Kupka, who stands ready to crush any threat that might face us.
This place is nice.
Look, Father! Hot water! But where are the bearers who heated it?
It wasn't heated by magic. It comes out of the ground like this.
Hot spring water. Alright.
Plates and pots! Bowls and basins!
Excuse me. Are you Furder?
I am. Can I help you, travelers?
I hope so. You've lived here for some time, is that correct? Do you know Rosina Dalamil? We believe she may be a trader of some renown.
And what business do you have with the Desert Hare?
So you do know
She
them.
was a close friend of mine. I was hoping she might be able to help me.
Very well. Go to the bordello. I'll arrange an introduction.
All right.
I know who you're looking for. Go to the bordello and wait there.
Silver! Do you think we can trust him?
Only as far as I think he trusts us.
So you're the ones who've been sniffing around.
I beg your pardon?
Don't play the fool. Stick your nose in our business and you're likely to lose it.
Silence! My turn!
Season 2, nice.
Stay down!
Who are you working for? Him or her?
Him. The boss. He wanted us to test you.
Though one could hardly call that a test.
Lord Furder?
I had a feeling it was a
What
test.
the cat dragged in. Your skill with the blade is rare indeed, my lord. A fitting talent for an outlaw.
You know who I am. So what now? Call in the Men of the Rock and collect the bounty?
That isn't my decision to make. Our work is done. Take him to meet his precious Rosina. She will be interested to make his acquaintance.
Yes, my lord. To the Lock of Leisure, then.
All right.
to the Lock of Leisure.
Kneaded to a silken softness, like eating a cloud with a crust.
Once you go flat. Oh, flatbread. Flatbread looks pretty good.
The most fragrant herbs and spices from the breadths
My
of the...
carpets have pride of place in Castle Dasbog. You too can live like a lord.
Is this the place?
Ubor's Forge, the Briar's Kiss. Ah, so it was the young sprig after all. So much for Rosina Dalamil being a woman of experience. How wrong I was.
It was an easy mistake to make, Uncle. After all, it must have been years since Sid last saw her. Sorry, him. Whoever this Lubor truly is, he's clearly a man of means. I'd say he deserves our respect.
See that he gets it.
All right.
Lubor, Lord Furder told me to bring them to you. My boys tell me you're in need of assistance. Sid the Second?
I won't waste your time. I need passage through the south gate.
Tell me, what do you think is a merchant's most important commodity? Why, trust. Everyone knows that. Without it, you have nothing. And nothing is exactly what you have. And so, for you, I too have nothing. I'm not in the business of helping every lost puppy that wanders in off the street. I'm a busy man, as you can see.
Let's leave this mummer to his farce.
By all means. Find someone else to help you on your way. Just be sure to tell them you're not the two travelers from the inn the guards are looking for. Don't want them jumping to conclusions, do we?
Why, you...
So, what do we need to do to earn your trust?
I like this one. Willing to do whatever it takes to get what he wants. Men like you have a special place in my heart. Why, you ask? Because they get me what I want. Always.
Fine. So what do you want?
Don't tell me you're going to listen to this swaggering scruff.
We might as well hear him out. It's only natural that an ally of Sid's would seek assurances of strangers. Assuming he is an ally, of course. 5 years ago, he would have still been a boy.
And yet even then I had more good sense than a man, 5 times my age? But enough of the pleasantries. We were speaking of what I want. I want you to put an end to the trouble in Dalamil. Return to me when you have done so, and you shall have my aid. Until then, I bid you good day.
What
Put an end to the trouble.
If you're going to give us orders, be clear about them, damn you!
Manners, Greybeard. One catches more damselflies with honey than with vinegar.
What did you call me?
My apologies. A word of advice in recompense. Follow the crystals. Oh, but that was 3. Oh, I'm making this too easy for you.
Ha! It will be easy. Solving his little riddle should be like dealing with him. Child's play. Let us divide our forces, Clive. I'd rather not drag this parlor game on any longer than we need to.
All right. Good luck, Uncle.
Right. We gotta end the trouble
I
in
thought
town.
we were the only ones causing trouble in Dalamil.
Master Lubor has high expectations of you. Don't disappoint him.
Try not to.
Excuse me. Is it true there's been trouble with crystals of late?
You've heard, then?
I've heard rumors.
Damn thieves. Pilfering the crystals that were meant to fill our cups and light our stoves. Us common folk have hardly had a shard to share between us these last few moons. And it isn't as if we can buy them on the black market either. Whoever's taking them, they aren't sharing.
Okay, so what do they need the crystals for?
Do you have a moment?
Depends what for.
Just a question. Dalamil seems to be thriving compared to the other villages I came through on the way. Is there a reason for that?
Well, we're a stone's throw from Drake's Fang for one. The soldiers guarding the Mother Crystal and the shipments need a place to spend their hard-earned gil. The men of the Rock throw their money about like there's no tomorrow.
Is that so? Well, thank you. Don't let me keep you from your work any longer.
I didn't really help a whole lot.
You wouldn't believe how much he gave me.
Well, I hope you gave as good as you got.
What can I do for you, soldier? Need that sword polishing?
I'm not a soldier.
Ugh, then be off with you. I serve the men of the Rock and the men of the Rock only.
You have an agreement with them?
Don't be stupid. I just know which side my bread is buttered. Don't want to be stuck under some pauper when they come knocking. With pockets deeper than Zemeckis and an urge to empty them. No, just leave, will you? Before you scare them off.
I think I'm starting to get an idea of what's been going on.
The men of the
I
Rock
wonder if
taking
Uncle
him.
Byron's learned anything of use. They'll probably be back at the inn by now.
My carpets have pride of place in castle.
What was all that crashing and banging about before? Some out-of-towners picked a fight with a guard, I heard. Got cracked skulls for their trouble.
It's you, the one who broke all our furniture.
Yeah, sorry
What
about
do you
that.
want? Haven't you caused enough trouble already?
I'm looking for my pal. Have you seen him?
The gentleman who was with you? Yes, he's upstairs, but...
Thank you. I'll go and fetch him.
Is he inside? Hey, Torval, what are you doing here? Supposed to be in the city? Alright, so he's not in there.
Huh?
Will this suffice as a deposit?
By the sands. That's a black pearl.
One of the many treasures in my collection that I would be only too happy to part with, should you give me reason to do so.
All right. I'm sure that we can come to an agreement, but not here.
What are you doing, Uncle?
Using his money to buy information, I guess.
Care to explain why you're giving gifts to Kupka's men?
Bait, my boy. One cannot catch one's prey without it. And I do believe I've snagged us quite the quarry. I started by asking around the markets as to where I might purchase crystals. I had no luck, of course. It's forbidden to trade in such things. But my uncharacteristic indiscretion just happened to attract the attention of those uniformed ruffians. They took me aside and said they could procure the crystal I sought if I proved I could pay for it.
So the pearl was your proof?
I thought they'd asked for more. A second-rate specimen like that would only fetch 500,000 or so. A small price to pay for admittance to the underworld. But enough about my little act of subterfuge. What did you discover?
That the supply of crystals has dried up of late. And some people seem to think they're being stolen. Meanwhile, members of Kupka's private guard have been spending money all over town. I'll wager those soldiers you've been talking to have been siphoning off crystals meant for elsewhere, and pocketing the profits.
I'll wager you're right.
We'll meet with them then, just as you arranged, and put an end to the trouble Lubor spoke of.
Ha! That preening popinjay thought this would be difficult. It just goes to show, one should never underestimate a Rosfield. We'll soon wipe that smirk off his face. I arranged to meet with the soldiers in a secluded corner of the Velcroy, far from prying eyes.
The perfect place for a spot of double dealing.
I trust I can count on your support, if things turn sour.
Yeah, we know they will.
Of course.
Let me treat you. I'm pretty flush these days.
Are you now?
I need a drink.
Genuine cactuar needles. Cat, really? Hi. Supposed to be up on me.
Fucking men of the wrong. Anytime they pull their snouts out of Kupka's trough is when they want to lord it over us.
So, how do I get over there? Out that gate, okay.
Ready, go? Faster!
So where are we going? All the way over there, okay. We're fine.
You're finished!
Alright. Let's see about these crystals.
I'll take it from here.
It's quite a few crystals.
I was beginning to think you weren't coming, my lord. You've brought your contribution?
All the silver and stones I could scrape together at such short notice?
You brought the whole 500 talents.
That was the price we agreed upon, yes? If you've no objections, I'd like to see the crystal.
Of course. Right this way, my lord.
There's a lot.
Not bad at all. You weren't lying about the clarity. But what of security? If I were to be stopped on the road, what guarantee have I that it wouldn't be seized as property of the Republic?
Because these crystals are no longer the property of the Republic. You're not buying from us. You're buying from them.
And we have no more jurisdiction here than you, my lord.
They were looters, huh?
But we have ships, and will gladly deliver to a port of your choosing, now that our price has been met.
Royalists, eh? What brings you here?
Why, to collect their share of Drake's Fang's blessing, of course. Our nations are allies, and so they are entitled to a portion of the Mother Crystal's bounty. And being such good friends, we elected to increase that portion and share the benefits. And now that these crystals are officially property of the Kingdom of Waloed, we are duty-bound not to interfere, no matter where they might happen to end up next.
Did you get all that? They're in cahoots!
So it would seem.
He's not very,
What is the meaning of this?
subtle.
Double-crossing dogs. They're not here to do business. Kill them. Kill them both!
To me, Flames! It's over. It's not over yet, Uncle. Good. I'm just getting warmed up.
Where? You. More of them, huh?
Well, that wasn't too bad. How'd you like my performance, huh? I've often played the villain on the stage. I think I did the role justice. Don't you?
It's good until you cut out for me.
You were magnificent.
The battle scene was particularly thrilling. Such a shame you didn't have more of an audience, but perhaps that's for the best.
How long have you been watching?
Long enough to witness your uncle's sordid transaction. I hardly expected one so venerable to degrade himself so thoroughly, buying one's way into the confidence of degenerates. Ingenious.
This was the trouble you spoke of. The men of the Rock taking Crystal's men for the common folk and conspiring with the Royalists. Well, now it's over.
Indeed it is. The people of Dalamil had scarcely any means of redress against Kupka's men, let alone a foreign army. Until you two came along, that is. Well, we'd better get these crystals back to town. You won't mind waiting with them while I fetch a wagon.
All right. I was kind of waiting for him to say, no, that wasn't the trouble. But thank you anyway.
It occurs to me that I still don't know your name.
Clive.
So, Sid the Second is a Clive. I suppose it could have been worse. Well, Clive, you held up your end of the bargain, so I must do the same. Passage through the South Gate, was it not? To tell the truth, you've helped a little there too. Many of the guards have already been redeployed to deal with the issue of their missing comrades. And those left behind have been encouraged to look the other way should you attempt to pass through.
Thank you. And please allow me to cover your costs. You still have the purse I gave to the soldiers, I trust? I saw you pluck it from one of the bodies.
Oh, dear. Was I really so obvious?
And my name is not Greybeard. It is Lord Byron Rosfield, thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, Greybeard.
Of all the... Ugh!
Here, wear this.
Seal. Nice.
Any friend of mine who sees you with it shall be a friend of yours.
Thank you, Lubor.
And please, feel free to send one of my Stoluses back to your people. Tell them that Rosina Dalamil is back in bed with Sid.
Alright, we have new allies.
Umialos Delan. Tuisa Gilis.
I'm trusting you, Sid. Or should I say, Clive. So be sure not to let me down. I have a reputation to uphold.
Definitely making allies all over the world.
Well then, I wish you a safe journey south.
Thank you.
Not at all. It was my pleasure.
Come on, Uncle. Let's go.
Still the matter of Joshua and where he went. I gotta meet up with him eventually. Side quests. 2 of them, alright. Carving out a niche and hot water. Alright, well I'm gonna leave this episode here for now. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.